All right, I think we're on. Let me check this. Sorry, I got on a little too early. I need to check my actual page on YouTube. So, I got new glasses and they're purple just in time for Saturn's mantra. Are we live? We're live. All right, so, hey Lakshmi. So we're finally going to finish up the last 3 mantras for the planets. Andrew, nice to see you. Yep, so since we got 3, why don't we dive right in, right? Okay, yeah, so let me start by giving you, since I just got some Devanagari in there, in the chat. Let me put into the description of the video. I'll start off with the Devanagari for this mantra for Saturn, and I'll give you the Sanskrit words, right? So here you go. If it shows up, it says, Ketu is on your ascendant, Andrew, but it's not on anybody else's. That's not where you are. The ascendant is local. So it just happens. Yep, right? Actually, it's not for Saturn, but I just happen to like purple. Imagine that, right? And my daughter and my wife kind of picked out these glasses for me. And I said, and as soon as they pointed to them, I was like, yeah, I like purple. All right, so here we go. Saturn, right? It says, Sham no devi rabhishtaya, apo bhavantu taye, sham yor abhisravantu naha. Easy mantra, right? It's got 8 syllables per line. So you recognize it easy. It has the Gayatri cadence to it. Sham no devi abhishtaya, apo bhavantu taye, sham yor abhisravantu naha. So this is a sweet one you would not really expect. You may not. I mean, I would expect it because I've been, surprised by these sorts of things many, many years ago, so I'm not surprised by them anymore. But you might not expect that Saturn will be addressed as a feminine entity, right? This mantra is addressing Saturn as feminine. Sham no devi abhishtaya. So Sham is a secret name for Saturn, for Shawnee. And the devi means the goddess. So they're definitely addressing Saturn as feminine. And which surprises you, but shouldn't surprise you, because classically speaking, Saturn is given a transgender role, right? Especially if you look in Paladipika, makes it really clear. Saturn, Mantreshwara assigns Saturn to the 3 transgendered planets, but says that of the 3 transgendered planets, Mercury is like the male who's become female, and Saturn is like the female who's become male, and Ketu is like the one who's neuter, has nothing. So Saturn is kind of intrinsically female, but behaves and acts and sees the world, interacts with the world through the male subjective lens, right? So, okay, so to work with Saturn then, you need to address Saturn as a female. So this is another important point about what kind of problems will you have with Saturn. Remember that this is the whole point of these mantras, is that we have things that we want to improve in our life. And we assign those things to a planet based on what planet symbolizes the thing that I'm having this problem with. So the kind of problems that you would have with Saturn would be being too insensitive. That's a really big issue with Saturn. Being very insensitive and blunt and cold, and those are typically not female qualities, right? That's why Saturn is described as the woman who's lost or given up her feminine qualities. So a big part of how you do the mantra for Saturn is just, first of all, to conceive of Saturn as a female. And so that's going to put you in a space, a mental and emotional space, which is more warm, sensitive, etc. Right? So Saturn's addressed as the devi. Sham no devi abhisravantu. Let's see what we got here for our notes. Okay, so like I said, Sham, right? Sham means Saturn. It's actually the name for a tree that has to do with Saturn. This tree can survive in like a desert. So it's a lot like Saturn. It can persevere. It can get by with almost no water. So it's a perseverant thing, right? So the mantra is invoking this tree, is invoking an image in your mind of a tree that's in a desert and struggling to survive in a desert. So that's also going to be the reason why we would turn to working on Saturn, right? Because that's what our life is going like. We're like a tree in a desert. Nothing is coming to us. We have to fight and struggle for every little grain of bread that we make. Nobody's helping us. We're all on our own. Everything is against us. The circumstances are difficult. It's just like that tree that's trying to grow in the desert. So the first thing that the mantra does is invoke the image of that tree, Sham, in your mind. And then, and actually it says we, right? The word right after Sham is naha, which means we. It's pronoun for we. So it doesn't connect to Sham, but sometimes you get meaning from words that isn't strictly grammatical. You get like connotations, implications. So the connotation there is that we are this tree. But actually, grammatically speaking, the we part connects to the next couple of words. Okay, so the next couple of words are devi, which means goddess, and abhisravantu. So abhisravantu is, you may know the word dūtī. I'm sure Lakshmi, you know this word dūtī, right? Dūtī means like to praise or glorify. So abhisravantu. Abhisravantu means we make a stuti very strongly. Stuti is a praise, a prayer, a glorification, a celebration. Abhistuti means we really forcefully, passionately make one for you. Śaciṣṭhayā devi, goddess Sham. So Saturn is is the tree, but we're also the tree, and we're going to make a glorification to Saturn. This is also important, right? What kind of problems we have with Saturn? The problems that you'll have with Saturn will be withholding. You'll be withholding. You won't be warm. You won't be able to express or show how you feel. You won't even know how you feel. You won't be in touch with how you feel when there's Saturn problems. So the mantra is coming right out of the gate without addressing those particular problems. It's putting our mind into an image space that's completely opposite of those problems. The Saturn will give you a problem where you'll become very insensitive, tough, masculine, and not emotive, not warm, not open, not expressive. So the first thing that the mantra is saying is addressing. You want to show your face? My little daughter is hanging out here with me. So the first thing that the mantra does is put us in a space where there's a big emotional expression going on for a goddess. Okay, so that's very, very important. Make sure if you want to do this mantra, that on this first line, you better have that feeling that you're in a big emotional expression of love for the goddess at the core of Shawnee. Okay, so now, let me see. Any questions so far? Pertinent, on point questions? This is good. I'm happy to be back doing this. We'll probably finish up the mantras in this session. So probably after this, I'll think of some other cool thing to do. All right. Let me see if you have any questions. So about what I talked about so far. That Saturn is going to be addressed in the feminine and in a very emotive, warm, celebratory sense. And that's important because it counteracts the problems that Saturn will give. You can also see that my glasses are blue cut glasses. They cut the blue light. Greetings to Australia, Sheer. Right, yeah. Then let's continue to the second line. I'll check back later and see if there's any questions. Because of the lag, it's hard to wait. All right, so that was the first line. Sham no devir abhisravantu. Then the second line is apo bhavantu taye. Apo bhavantu taye. Apo bhavantu taye. So the first word there, you may know it, even if you're not that familiar with Sanskrit. You might know this word, apa. Actually, it was in the video that I did yesterday about Rohini Nakshatra. You can find that one on my channel. Rohini needs apa, water. See, again, so it's a feminine principle. Now, Shir is asking if it matters how we see Saturn. It matters extremely how you see Saturn. It matters extremely because this is what we're doing. The mantra is going to put a visual interaction. You're going to interact with Saturn by chanting this mantra. You're not just hearing sounds. You're going to interact with Saturn. So it's going to create the room. It's going to create the characters. It's going to create the props, and it's going to put you there. So you have to see it. You have to visualize it. And you're going to have to visualize Saturn not according to how you feel about Saturn, because that's the one that's got the problem in it. But you have to visualize Saturn according to how the mantra displays Saturn, which is the one that will cure the problem. That display will cure the problem. So we'll need to see Saturn as a devi, a goddess, who is connected with this tree that can flourish in the desert. But what do you think that tree needs in the desert more than anything else? It needs apa. Yeah, so if this is your first time with this, because this is the last live session in this series about the mantras for the planets. So if this is the first one, you're kind of missing a lot of the introductory stuff that I did in the very first one. So go back into my channel later and find the older ones. I think we did 3 or 4 before this. And the first one especially explains what mantras are and how you chant them. Okay, so what do you think this desert tree needs? It needs apa. Apa is water, right? Water, again, is a very feminine element. So apa, it's not just any kind of water, but it's fresh water that flows. And it's the goddess Apas, right? So this mantra is going to connect Apas, or flowing water, or another goddess, very important goddess. She's also a goddess in the nakshatras, in the stars. It's going to connect Apas with Saturn, right? You see, Monica is saying, isn't Saturn cold and dry? Right? That's what I'm saying. So the problem that you'll get with Saturn is you'll be cold and dry. What does that actually mean? That means your emotions will be shut off. It means you won't be sensitive, you won't be feeling, you won't be expressive. And therefore you're going to be suffering. You see, you'll be cut off from interacting with your life because your interactors are all dried out. It's like if your tongue is all dried out, how can you taste the food? You see, the water is so important. Water gives you the ability to taste life. So the mantra, therefore, is going right in the opposite way of how it's going to show Saturn. It's going to show this dried tree, but then it's going to address Saturn in a warm way, in a feminine way, and call forth the water. See, that's what the second line does, is it's going to call forth the water. So it calls forth water, apa. So it's going to say, look, if you want to solve your Saturn problems, then you need to connect yourself with water. Now, this is the way symbolism works, is you do literally need to connect yourself with water. because the symbols of the things carry the potency of them. So actually just glasses of water or lakes, rivers, they carry the symbolic content of water. They carry femininity, they carry sensitivity, they carry calmness, introspection, depth, emotion. The water itself carries it. So that's one thing to do. If you're having issues with Saturn holding back your life, drying things out, making you feel like you're all alone in the desert, then get yourself more water. It's as simple, drink more water, keep an aquarium or something, go to the river, hang out at the river. Be careful for beaches, typical, especially if you're in America or something, because there's an awful lot of air and sand and sun at a beach, just probably equal measure as water. So better to go to a lake, a river, waterfall, something like that. Okay, so then it says apa bhavantu taye. So bhavantu is going to call, let there be waters for us. So the mantra is calling to Saturn and saying, let there be waters to us. So this gives you a clue about Saturn. Saturn's not dry and cold, but Saturn can block the water and the warmth if you get a problem with it. You see? So what the mantra is saying is, O goddess Sham, which is a secret way of addressing Shawnee, Saturn. O goddess Sham, let the water flow. And taye, so we can drink it, or so they can drink it, so the waters can be drunk, so the water can be drunk. So we need to drink water. Drink water means experience life deeply, have a taste, have nourishment, have love, have affection. Okay, let me know if you have other questions. I'll check it out. So, Sham no devi abhisravantu apo bhavantu taye. Then the third line, Sham abhisravantu naha. So again, addresses Sham, right? Sham abhisravantu naha. So the second line, the second word, again, it's also very intimate to call a person by name, right? This is a very unusual name for Saturn, Sham. It's like just the first bit of Shawnee. So it's actually really intimate. So that's another thing about the mantra right away. It's not putting... The mantra for Saturn is not going to put you in a Saturn mood. It's going to put you in the opposite of a Saturn mood, because that's exactly what you need. It's going to put you in a close, intimate, friendly mood. You're going to call Saturn by just the first sound of her name. We're going to see Saturn as feminine. We're going to address Saturn with abhis, a lot of emotion and expressiveness. We're going to bring water in. We're going to have drinks, right? And we're going to then say her name twice. Say my name, say my name. You got to say it twice. You don't just say, the more you say the person's name, the more obvious it is that you love the person. So in this mantra, it's going overboard. It's, you can say it's going overboard. It's saying the name twice, addressing Saturn twice. So on the third line also, you get Sham again. And then the word ya, which means a blockade. So that's a big deal for Saturn, right? Saturn is like the block. So what problematic Saturns create blockades which don't allow water to flow. The water being emotions, the water being sensitivity, the water being love, affection, enjoyment, pleasure, relaxation. Doesn't allow that to flow. It blocks the things up. So now it's saying, ya abhisravantu. So shrav means to flow. And, I see there's an interesting question here. Let me just get this thought out, and then I'll go see what the question is. Let me close some of these windows. Shrav means to flow. So then here we got a word śravantu. Means to let them flow, let the waters flow. And the prefix is abhi. You saw it before with abhis. In the first line, there's the śaciṣṭhayā, to really powerfully, passionately glorify. That's in the first line. Now in the third line, you got again Sham and Abhi. So there's a lot of passion and love in Saturn's mantra. Why? Because that's what the problem is with Saturn. It's going to turn down the passion and turn down the love and make everything practical and logical and systematic and scheduled and on time and follow rules, etc. So the mantra is just kicking that all right out and being really, really juicy and affectionate and close and intimate and passionate. Abhisravantu, let that water flow passionately through the blockade. Break down the blockade, naha, and come to us. Right? So there you go. That's Saturn's mantra. It's really beautiful. Let me see, I don't really have it. An English translation written out in so many words. Here, why don't I do it right now for you? I'll put it into the description. So I'll say goddess Sham. All these words are so Christianized, so it's hard to say like praise or glorify without feeling like you're in a church. We celebrate. We celebrate you. That's the first line. Goddess Sham, we celebrate you. Okay? Thank you, 9 of Owls. So, Paula, swimming in a pool. This is just a weird thing. For everybody's different. I'm sure it's great, but for me, swimming in a pool is a weird thing with chlorine. Chlorine is a very airy chemical. It's going to kill things. So I think you need to actually swim in some natural water or get a saltwater pool or something. Of course, swimming pools are fun, but as for getting the Saturn therapy thing, I'm not sure that swimming in a pool would work. So, Sham no devi abhisravantu, goddess Sham, we celebrate you. Apo bhavantu taye. Let us drink your flowing waters. Okay? And then Sham yor abhisravantu naha. Goddess Sham. Well, we don't have to even say goddess this time. It doesn't say goddess, it just says Sham. Flow passionately and break to us. Flow passionately to us, breaking the dams. Okay, good. So I did a live translation for you, so it's going to be in there. Angie says, when can you recite this mantra? There are so many mantra and rules. Angie, go ahead, look at the previous videos. Look at the first video in the series, the one about the sun. I tell a lot about mantras in general and that they're not rituals. They used to be parts of rituals, but we don't even know how to do them that way anymore. The only thing that we can really do with the mantra now is get right down to the core, the most powerful part of it, which is the actual image that it produces in your mind. In that first video with the mantra for the sun, I explained why. I explained that in detail. So you can do it anytime, any place, as long as you're actually getting the meaning and visualizing the proper meaning in your head. Even if you're mispronouncing the words, you're all right, as long as you got the meaning. God, once you wear glasses, you need to keep them on. All right, so shall we go on? Oh, wait, let me see what Lakshmi is saying. She's got some Sanskrit stuff here. Yeah, nah, right? That's what I'm talking about. Nah is like to us. All right, so the mantra is now in the description there. Let's go and look at the mantra for Rahu. Those who might... That was the interesting question. I thought it was interesting because it had a Sanskrit Devanagari, but it was actually really simple. It was just about the word na, which is a very simple word. Pronoun that means our. To us. Okay, so now let's go and see what Rahu has. Now, in case you don't know, Rahu is the ascending node of the moon. So in other words, it's where the moon crosses the sun's path. It's where the moon crosses the ecliptic as it heads north, of the equator. Okay, and then Ketu is going to be where the moon crosses the sun's path heading south. So north means up and south means down. So Rahu has got all this, all of the symbolism of Rahu is associated with coming up, because that's what it's doing. When the moon crosses that point, the moon's coming up. So Rahu is all about out, up, bigger, forward. And Ketu is all about in, down, inner, hiding, going, so that's how they get their symbolisms. Let's see what the mantra is. Let's see. Saturn conjoined Rahu can be really crazy. Anybody can join Rahu, because what Rahu is going to do is going to go bam and make things come out and go up. So it can be fantastic, or it's a big gamble when you put Rahu next to a planet. Hopefully that planet is in a good condition, because whatever condition it is, Rahu is going to exacerbate it, amplify it. And Ketu will do the same thing, but Rahu is going to make exacerbate and amplify it in an outward way. And Ketu is going to intensify and internalize it in a very intense way. Sun and Moon I did in the previous session already. You just go to my channel and look through the older videos. So we already did all the other mantras. Oh, if I didn't say it there, I'll try to put it up next time, okay? These YouTube faces are so funny that they're like not round. All right, here we go. Let me find Rahu. Rahu is Rig Veda 4:31:1. Saturn, by the way, was Rig Veda 10:9:4. Rahu is Rig Veda 4:31:1. I'll put it into the description now with the actual Sanskrit words. Boom. It should be in there now. Again, another question is, how often should we do the Shawnee mantra? Go look at that sun video, okay? It talks all about that. You do it. It's not even about how often you do the mantra. It's about how well you understand the mantra. That's really what's going to help you. If you do the mantra a zillion times but you don't know what it means, it's not going to do much. So first of all, make a big effort to understand and be able to actually visualize and conceptualize the mantra in the way that makes sense, pertinent to you and your reason for wanting to do this mantra. Everyone at that time, on that day, at that moment. And then you can just say the mantra once and have a tremendous effect from it. You see, so you don't have to do mantras 90 billion times. The only reason why you do a mantra 90 billion times is to practice, like you might practice something over and over again so you can get it right. But really, a mantra is not something that needs to be done a zillion times. It just needs to be digested once. But the repetition of it is the practice, trying to get deep into it, trying to figure it out. Anybody who should say this mantra, Lakshmi asks. Anybody who wants to. Okay, anytime you feel, again, Lakshmi, you were there in the first video. Maybe it's just been too long. What Parashar is saying, because we're taking all these mantras out of the Parashar Shastra, the chapter called Graha Shanti, where you make peace with planets. So what he says is, if you got a problem or something you want to improve, figure out what planet symbolizes that thing, and then do this therapy related to the planet. And he gives you a bunch of different things. And then the last thing that he comes to is what mantras to do. Right? So who should say it? Whoever feels that they are too dry, whoever feels like they're too disconnected, whoever feels like they have the blockade, whoever feels like they're having a problem that is typified by Saturn, then you should get in and contemplate this mantra. This is not Brahminical Vedic culture. That stuff is finished. This stuff is done. That stuff's been done for 2,000 years, 3,000 years or more. You don't need to find the right muhurta to do some mantra or anything like that. It's done. It's Kali Yuga. It's finished. All you got to do is get down to the meaning and do the practical stuff. All right, going on to Rahu. Kayā citra bhuva dūtī sadāvṛdhaḥ sakhā. Kayā śaciṣṭhayā vṛtā. So again, this is another one that's just like Saturn's mantra. It's the same cadence. It's got the same syllabic pattern. 8 syllables on 3 lines, called the Gayatri. Kayā citra bhuva dūtī sadāvṛdhaḥ sakhā. Kayā śaciṣṭhayā vṛtā. So you got the word kayā a lot. Like in Saturn's mantra, you had sham twice in the first word and the first line, and the first word of the third line for Saturn was sham. For Rahu, the first word of the first line is kayā, and the first word of the third line is kayā. So kayā seems to be an important word. Wonder what it means, right? It means how can it be done? So that's what this thing is all about. What kind of problems are you going to have when you have a Rahu problem? What kind of problem is going to be typified as a Rahu problem? It's something where you can't make sense of what's going on, where you can't make a decision, you can't see left from right, you can't even figure out, like where it's very difficult to just perceive, because Rahu is making eclipses. What happens where the moon crosses the sun's path is they get in each other's way, so they make eclipses. So Rahu and Ketu are where eclipses happen. That's what Rahu and Ketu symbolize when the lights go out, and you can't figure out when this weird haze, purple haze, fills the air, and you can't. Everything becomes spooky, and you don't know which way to turn and what's going to happen next, and it's all strange. So the most pertinent words for Rahu is kayā. Like, what am I supposed to do? That's what kayā means. What am I supposed to do? Hi, everybody. Yes, so kayā, nas, right? That's like a us. The same word as in Saturn's na. Kayā nas citra bhuva. Bhuva dūtī. This got one word split over two lines. Now, the word citra is real important. You might recognize citra as a name for one of the nakshatras, right? Citra means so clear. It's crystal clear. That's what citra means. So Rahu fogs everything up. So just like how did we address Saturn? Saturn is this real anally retentive, stiff, dried up old lady. Frankly, right? That's what Saturn is like when you have a problem with Saturn. So how do you address Saturn? With the mantra as a warm, loving, flowing, moist, and delicious goddess. So the same thing with Rahu. Rahu is this foggy, chaotic, scary, weird force when he messes things up. So how do you address him with the mantra? As a very clear thing. Citra, who kayā, can tell you what to do. Instead of hiding what to do and making everything a fog and unclear, you address Rahu as the clear one, citra. Kayā nas citra. So citra means very crystal clear. And bhuva dūtī. Let me check my notes here. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to identify three types of people that really are going to benefit from a Rahu mantra. The three types of people are, first of all, people that are in a fog. Not three types of people, but three times in our life, right? When you're in a fog and you can't really tell what's what and what you even want, then this mantra is really, that's Rahu is doing that to you. Changing your feelings about what you want and you don't really know what to do. And then the other kind of person, or the other time in your life when you'll need this, is when you may know what you want, but you have no idea how to get it. And the third type is where everything is unstable. Right? So depending on what reason you're coming to Rahu, which one of those three reasons, then a different word in this mantra or a different set of words in this mantra are going to be important to really focus on. Is Rahu and Chitra good? It can be very good. So it's saying if you're coming to Rahu because you can't really decide what you want, you're just in a fog. and you're stuck in neutral. You can't figure out if you should go left or right. You don't know if you love this person or that person, or you want to pursue that goal or this other goal. Then you really need to think about this word citra to clarify, right? So he's saying, so the mantra is saying, kayā nash citra, how can we make you clear? It's asking Rahu, dear Rahu, how can we make you clear? Bhuva dūtī. Bhuva dūtī is the name given to Rahu here, which means the messenger of the skies. So he's actually not really addressed as a planet, but as a messenger, because they were thought of as omens, because they caused the eclipses. So they were like comet. Ketu is actually another word for comet. So they're associated with comets, falling stars, eclipses, things like that. They're more like messages, omens. So Rahu is addressed as the bhuva dūtī, the messenger from the sky, of the heavens. So how can we, but bhuva, up in the sky, how can we make you clear? You can't even see Rahu. That's another mysterious thing about it. Rahu is a planet that you can't see. It's a point between the moon and the sun's path. So it's invisible. So how can you make it clear? How can you make it known? That's what the mantra is saying. How shall we make this known? If you focus on asking Rahu, how will you make yourself clear? Please make yourself clear up in the sky. Then that will help you with the feeling that I just don't even know what I want. Okay? Sadāvṛdhaḥ. Sadāvṛdhaḥ means always prospers. Vṛtā means always grows and improves. And sada means always, right? And sakhā. Sakhā means a very close friend, an intimate friend, a friend that you trust, that you have confidence in. Confidential friend is a sakhā or sakhī. So kayā. So we got to address, this is the thing, this is graha shanti, this is how you make peace with planets. You don't think about these planets as the bad guys. There's no bad guys. There's no bad guys anywhere. There's just mistakes in how we interact with each other. So, especially with the planets and the divine forces, there's no bad guys out there. There's just mistakes in how we interact with them. So we got to think of Rahu. Don't come to Rahu thinking you're going to do this mantra for this big bad guy just so that you can make him like you because he likes to have worshippers or something. You're going to be his friend. You're going to be Rahu's friend, sakhā. So Rahu is a very scary figure. So the mantra is saying, don't think of Rahu as a scary figure. Think of him as your friend, sakhā. If you can sit down with Rahu and be open, then all the things will become citra or clear. If you can't trust Rahu, then he's going to make everything unclear. He's going to hide everything from you. He won't trust you. So this is what it's saying. Think of Rahu as a sakhā, a friend, and sadāvṛdhaḥ. Sadāvṛdhaḥ is a really important word, one for the people who feel like their life is in total chaos. Because Rahu does this this is another reason why you would come to Rahu, right? Rahu would turn things upside down, just throws things into chaos. So if that's going on when you're doing this mantra, then you want to think about that Rahu is sadāvṛdhaḥ. He is a steady improver. You want to address him as the steady improver. Let's see. Now, here's an interesting question. What if you want to speak to the divine in gratitude for the gifts you have received? Then you just do this without any problem. You know what I mean? Then you just do the mantra as the way that you would talk to your friend. You know, the way you would just say, instead of kayā as like, help me how, it would be like, what do you want now? You know, What's new? What should I do next to make you even more resplendently clear? It's all just about your feeling. You take the same words with different feelings. Okay, so then sadāvṛdhaḥ is an important word for the people who are in a fog, because the reason why you get into a fog is because everything changes. But sadāvṛdhaḥ is asking Rahu to be more constant. Citra, the word citra, is asking Rahu to be more clear. So these words are real important in the mantra. Kayā na citra bhuva. Oh, what happened? I suddenly deleted all the Sanskrit. Kayā na citra bhuva dūtī sadāvṛdhaḥ sakhā. Kayā śaciṣṭhayā vṛtā. So this line has a real important word on it called ishtha. Again, even if you're not that familiar with Sanskrit, you probably heard this here and there, like in the nakshatra dhanishta. Ishta means the thing that you really want, the thing that's desired. A desirable thing is ishta, a favorite thing. So that's the problem also with Rahu, is that we're not clear what's our ishta. We lose the center. With Rahu, you lose the center. And that's what Rahu is doing, is eclipsing the sun, means losing the center. So when you lose your ishta, you lose your focus, you lose your center. And then you go off and do something crazy because you have no center. So the mantra is using the word ishtha, having a center of your focus, a center of your desire, a center of your attraction. So kayā śaciṣṭhayā vṛtā, how will we fulfill our cherished desire? We need the cherished desire. How will we clarify our cherished desire? And how will we get it? How will we fulfill it? Right, so if you are mostly thinking that you need this mantra because Rahu is making your life chaotic, and you can't really, chaotic emotionally speaking or decision making wise, like you can't make good decisions, then when you're doing this mantra, you really want to think about citra, sadāvṛdhaḥ, and ishta. In other words, the words that mean clarify and stabilize, sadāvṛdhaḥ, and ishta, give me a clear favorite. If you're thinking that you need this mantra because you don't know how to achieve what you want, then you need to focus on the word kayā, which appears twice, which means how. You would really be thinking about asking Rahu how to get something. And then if you are in an upheaval in general, it's like Rahu is throwing your life upside down, then you need to think about vṛtā and sadāvṛdhaḥ, which means the growth and the steady prosperity of things. Let's see if you got any questions. If you've lost desire, then you're in the first category. You see, if you've lost desire, then you're in the fog. So then you need your ishta. You need your objective. So you should mostly focus on the word ishta in that one. And citra, and clarify it. Sakhā may also be an important word in such a case where you've lost desire because you need a friend. Sakhā has emotion and passion in that word. There's emotion and passion. Okay? Kitna prashna, you have any question? Oh, I'm going to put the English translation down here. The English translation in the description for the video. I'm not sure if you can even see this yet, but at least later when it's in the recording, you should be able to see. How can we make you resplendently clear, O friendly, ever-prosperous messenger of the skies? How can we fulfill our heart's desire? Sure, you have Rahu and Satabishak. Welcome to the club. Me too. I think that Rahu and Satabishak is awesome, but definitely has a huge potential for chaos because Satabishak itself has that potential to space out and lose position, lose center. But it's like I say, with astrology, when you put extremes together, you get a real gamble. So if the conditions are good for those two extremes together, then you get something really, really good. If the conditions are bad, then you get something really, really bad. Emily, this Rahu Mantra will certainly help you fulfill your destiny. That's why it's saying kayā so many times. How will I get this? And then it's going to also help you understand what it is. It doesn't really matter what nakshatra your Rahu is in. This is a very simple approach to therapy, to planetary therapy. The simple approach is, Parashara didn't even say anything about if you have Rahu in this house or that sign or anything. He just says, here's the mantras for Rahu. If you feel like you have a problem with it, then use this mantra. And he said, how would you know if you have a problem with Rahu and not Mars? I already taught you about what they symbolize, he said in the very opening section of the chapter. So if you got a problem with that thing that the planet symbolizes, then use this mantra. Right, we got like 15 minutes left. Let's take a look at Ketus. You can recite these anytime. There's so much misinformation about mantras out there. All right, we're going to look at Ketu's mantra. So Ketu is going to be real similar because Ketu and Rahu are the same thing. They're the eclipsers. They're going to eat the sun and moon. But they're just on the opposite side. So whereas Rahu is blowing things up, Ketu is crushing things. Whereas Rahu is making things go out, Ketu is pulling them in. Oh, look at this. Anne Murphy says, isn't loss of desire a good thing? And actually, no. It makes you depressed and it makes you want to die when you lose desire. But I know, hey Matt, the Buddhist line of thought is that it's idealized to not have any desire. But you will mistake not having a desire for just depression. I think most people don't understand what it really means to have no desire. What Buddha is talking about is where you have inner fulfillment. So you don't have needs because your fulfillment is already met. When you say something like a lack of desire, what it means is you do need something, but you just don't have any, you don't know what it is, and you don't know, and you doubt that you'll be able to get it. Okay, so it's quite different. Buddha and these things are really quite on a different page. If you know anything about me, I spent like 8 years living in a temple and all that stuff. So, and besides that, like 20 years or something doing mantras and all that stuff. So what it really comes down to after all these years of doing this stuff, what I have to say is it's the most important thing that anybody can ever do. But it's totally, totally on a different ballpark. It's totally revolutionary, the spiritual approach to life. And not everybody is ready for it. So, and you cannot just pick somebody up and say, here, you're just used to being a regular person from Long Island and shopping at the mall on Saturdays. All right, here, just go over here and just live in a cave and do this mantra and forget all your desires. It just will not work. So you actually have to treat the person psychologically, spiritually, physically, everything with where they are at right now. And that's the Vedic approach. So a lot of the Vedas are telling you how to fulfill your desires, not how to get rid of them. All right, let's look at Ketu before we run out of time. Ketu is ketum. Ketum krin vanna ketave. It's a good sounding mantra. Ketum krin vanna ketave pesho marya apes. This is the most musical one. Ketum krin vanna ketave pesho marya apes. Samushad bhira yatha. That's probably the easiest of all the mantras. Yes, Ricky, you got some amazing things happen really with Ketu and Venus together. You might lose desire, but you can also get very intense psychological desires if you work with it the right way. And the whole thing about Venus with Ketu is Venus is going to become, all the sense of beauty, love, romance, and everything is going to be highly fantasized, emotional, internalized, idealized, spiritualized. So you're not gonna have a normal romance life, but it doesn't mean you can't have a fantastic experience of love and beauty and romance. You can, but it's got to be on this really deep psychological level. So here, let's see what this mantra is saying about Ketu. Ketu, it starts off with Ketu's name, right? But Ketu also means, the very word Ketu means a sign or an omen. That's why Ketu is thought of as a flag or a marker. So it says ketum, the sign, the omen. Then it says vanna. Vanna means to make it clear. That's just like Rahu's was citra. Ketu's is vanna. It means to, like, it's like the English word discover, but with a different subject. So, like like Christopher, somebody discovers a new planet. Well, what if the planet could give the discovery to you? The word would be vanna. So it's like reveal, disclose. So vanna is asking Ketu to let us discover it, or to disclose itself to us, discover itself to us. Vanna. So that's the key word here again, because what Ketu does, the same as Rahu's, is going to make things confusing. So you really got to focus on the word vanna, which means to clarify. And then it has the word ketave, right? Ketave means the sign, like Ketu means the sign. So ketave is like a blueprint, a plan. So vanna ketave means to disclose the plan, reveal the plan. So it's talking about the inner plan of thing, the inner working, how the thing works, and the inside. Ketum vanna, discover it. Let me get in there and see how it's really working on the inside. Because what's going on with Ketu is you get a lot of stuff happening on your insides. A lot of emotional sharpness can be great for drilling down deep into the depths of who you are, but it can be painful. Ketu has got, both of the things at the same time to it. So it's saying, let's find out, let us discover the inner workings. Ketum vanna ketave, show us the inner workings, Ketu. Pesho, marya, apes. You know what I'm going to do actually, guys? Neil. Hey, Neil. Neil is a great friend of mine for a long time. So Neil, I'm going to do the book Nakshatra Sutra, and I have a fantastic illustrator working with me to produce images that reveal the symbolism of the sutras. And I would love to do a book on these mantras and see if I can get that same illustrator to do something. This would be great. Monica, I have a class. If you go to victorcara.com and click over to the classes, there's a class called What Are the Vedas? And you can get it as just a download, so you can study it on your own. And that's going to explain everything about what the Vedas are. Okay. Ketum vanna ketave, O Ketu, O shower of signs, show us the sign. Explain to us what's going on inside. Let us see clearly. Disclose what's hidden beneath the surface. That's what that first line is talking about. Pesho, marya, apes. Show us the path that's been hidden. Show the whole Pesho, marya, apes. Pesho is another word for like a plan, or a way that something works. Marya, show us the boundary, show us the curbs, show us the edges of the road, show us the path. Show us the path of the inner workings, apes, that we can't understand. So actually this is the first time I'm going to say it. Ketu is your psychological planet. I mean, it's really, really psychology. So when you've got emotional problems, psychological problems, when your mind is driving you crazy, you need to come to this mantra. You need to come to Ketu. Because I guarantee you somehow another Ketu is transiting or having some subdasha or something that's driving you nuts. So the whole thing on both of these lines is my insides are eclipsed. I can't figure out, I can't see myself, I can't know myself. I can't know how I work. And the whole mantra is saying, show it to me, show it to me. Show me, ketave, show me how I work, Ketu. Vanna, show me. Ketave, the inner workings. Ketu, the shower. Show, what's going on in there? How does the animal inside work? Marya, show me how the path that it wants to walk on. Apes say, I can't see it. Samus. Now shamus means the dawn should come up. Bring the sun back. Bring back the dawn. Ketu hides the dawn, hides the illumination, hides the clarity, because it's sucking it in. Samus, let this light come back. Bhira. Yatha. Bhira is fear. Right? Ketu is very frightening. Ketu is really frightening. It's very fearful. It makes you feel alone, helpless, weak. So let the dawn shine on this fear victoriously, Jayatha. Let the dawn overcome the darkness of this fear. So the Ketu mantra is really a very light and dark image that comes out, where there's a lot of, like a cave inside of us that's dark, and you're calling forth Ketu, the shower, the sign. That's what it means. Ketu means the sign, the symbol, the omen, the message. Calling forth Ketu, hey, come into this dark place. Don't make the place dark. Come to the dark place with the dawn. Be victorious over the fear that I have, that I don't know how things work. I don't even know how I work. I'm intimidated. Bhira also means intimidation. Right? I'm intimidated by my circumstances. I'm intimidated by my lack of confidence. I'm intimidated by my lack of understanding my options. I'm intimidated by my lack of knowing what to do. So I can't even know how to move forth a step. So show me the path. Show me the plan. Show me the way. That's what the mantra is saying. All right, great. Isn't that nice? I mean, Ketu reveals the plan. That's what the first line means. Ketu reveals the plan, disclosing the blueprint completely, like the sunrise vanquishing fear. So I've got it all three mantras now are in the description of the video, and I think I'm gonna probably head out. Let me see if there's any last. Andrea, how you doing, Andrea? How would Ketu's ability to show us the path differ from the sun's way? You see, the sun will show you the path naturally. The sun is decisive, confident, and everything. It's a opposite of Ketu, right? Ketu swallows the sun. So you don't need to go to the sun to say, show me the path. This is the Graha Shanti chapter. So he's saying, this is how you address the problems and the issues with this planet. So the problems and issues that you're going to have with the sun are different than the problems and issues that you have with Ketu. The problem and issue that you have with Ketu is that you'll be too afraid even to take a step forward on the path. So you're asking Ketu to overcome your fear that's preventing you from being confident and getting your foot out the door and getting started on this path. So actually, you bring up a very good point. It's very similar to the sun, because the sun kind of gives what Ketu doesn't have. The sun gives that confidence and says, okay, you're ready to go. Mali says, okay, Paula says, let me go up a little bit, see if I missed any important ones. Paula says, is it okay to say mantras if you are of a different faith? There's no such thing as faith here. We're not talking about faith. Okay, just visualize the mantra. and you better believe in the mantra, but because you have to visualize it and be a part of it. But it's not about faith or any of that. Mali Ma. Are there any rules pertaining to chanting these mantras? As far as mala or no mala, doesn't matter what kinds. Sorry if it's a silly question. I'm still religious deprogramming a bit here. There are as many rules as you want, but most of them are completely unnecessary. The main rule is you better know what the mantra means. That's the biggest effort to make in mantra meditation, is to comprehend and understand the mantra. So most of your mantra meditation doesn't even involve chanting the mantra. It involves researching the mantra, understanding the meanings. Okay, and that's why mantras are very powerful when they're properly understood. You don't need to chant them 1 billion times. You don't need to count how many times. You don't need to. But let everybody do the thing the way that they like to do it. If you're the person for whom repetition is very, very useful, and you get something by trying it 1 million times, then do these mantras 1 million times and count them on beads. And if it helps you to be particular about what type of beads are related to this type of wood, this type of tree with this type of planet, then go for it. That's great. But it's not necessary. Malas are great because if you do want to be if you want to be serious about this, these aren't even really serious lifelong mantras, right? These are not really lifelong mantras. These are like remedial mantras. You do these when you have a situation. Yeah, so there's other mantras are like lifelong meditations. So those are more like the mantras where you'll want to dedicate a certain amount of practice of them every day, and malas or beads are very good for that, because you don't have to sit there and count each one. You just, once you get around the whole mala, you did a certain number. But they give certain numbers and things like that for these mantras. You don't need to worry about it. All right, guys, ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much. I hope you like my new purple glasses. I do. And great, we had a nice turnout today. So don't forget, I have tons of videos. Yeah. And especially, so this is the end of the planetary mantra series. If you like this one, we already did the one for Jupiter and Mars. We already did all the other planets. We already did Mercury, Venus. We already did Sun and Moon. And in that one about Sun and Moon, we already talked a lot about mantras in general and how to use them. So please, go to my channel and look in the older videos and find that all the stuff. There's got to be a playlist. Look at my playlist tab. If there's not a playlist, I should probably slap myself and make one. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Hari Bol. And I'll see you next week. Let's see if you got any... I'll come up with some idea of what to do next week. I think I had another good idea. Meanwhile, I've also started doing the Nakshatra Life Lesson series, which is really fabulous, and I'm starting to show the Nakshatra Sutra texts in there. So if you want to learn about the star clusters of Vedic astrology and what they mean to you and what they teach you about life, please check out that series. That's my newest video series. Okay, I'm out. Thank you, everybody. I love your comments. Okay. Let me turn this thing off. Somebody told me to slap myself, so...